Okay, well, this is our Friday Edpuzzle. I would love for you guys to just get a head start to next week. So I would hope that if you want to post these notes after the Edpuzzle, I think it's a great extra credit opportunity. All right, post pick. If you just did these with me and post a pick when we're done, I'm going to give you extra credit, okay? Like almost an assignment worth, maybe a homework assignment worth or something. So this next week, let's just review again real quick. We learned that our rules are super important that we get a hang of it. So this is going to be x to the 6. We're going to add. All right. Oops, that's a 5. All right, that's a 5. Okay, so then we're dividing here. So what's going to happen here? We'll have x squared. Why is that the case? Because you're going to subtract 3. Zoom in a little. Then, what if I have here? What's going to happen here? This is going to equal x to the 12th. We're supposed to multiply. Okay, so this one is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and then we also went over this idea of x to the 0 would blow everything up, and all that's left is 1. Okay, those are the 4 rules we went over. This one we went over in detail about, like, what if it was opposite? Oops, we're going to say that's x to the 10th. I know, I meant to put 10 as the exponent. So x4 over x10, what would that equal? And we were saying, okay, the bottom one, so it's going to stay on the bottom. You're going to subtract 4, so you're going to get x6 on the bottom, and you have to hold it with a 1 on top, okay? We've learned all of this past week. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I think you guys are okay. The way we went through it slowly, I think we're okay. Now, you know it's going to get kicked up a notch. You know we have to keep it going. So next week, we're going to go in more detail about something called a negative exponent. So whenever you have a negative, say we have 5 to the negative 3, we're going to think of negative as unhappy. The exponent is unhappy. It doesn't like where it's at. It doesn't like the fact that it's on the top here. So when you have a negative, when exponent is negative, when exponent is negative, when exponent is negative, I know, I wish I had better grammar here. When the exponent is negative, all right, you must what? We don't like that it's negative. We have to change it. It doesn't want to be negative anymore. You must change it to positive. You must change it to positive. Okay? When the exponent is negative, you must change it to positive. But we can't just say, okay, now it's positive, and that's it, and we're done. But in order to do that, when the exponent is negative, you must change it to positive, but which means it flips sides. It's going to flip sides, okay? So what's going to happen here? It's going to go 5, negative 3. I ran out of room here a little bit. We're going to change that to look what just happened there. 5 to the negative 3 flipped, and now it's 1 over 5 to the 3rd. It's weird. I know. It looks weird. Okay. All right. What about, let's say, x to the negative 3? What's that going to turn into? Well, we want to make it positive. But in order to make it positive, it flips. And you have to have a 1 on top. Okay. I know, it's kind of confusing. It has to flip sides. All right, let's keep it going. What if x negative 2 times y to the 4th. What is this going to equal? Well, we really haven't done much with different bases. What's going to happen, though? We know that we are never, ever, ever allowed to have a negative exponent. Never, okay? So the negative exponent's going to change. How are we going to change it? It's got to flip and become positive. So your final answer here is going to be y to the 4th on top, x squared on the bottom. And that's all that happens. Weird. I know. Very bizarre. But the quicker we can get these kind of rules, the better. Let me show you one more thing. What if I said 2 to the negative 3, there's a 4. Uh-oh. Guess what? You multiply them. You do the same rule, and you multiply them. So you're going to get 2. Remember, negative times a positive? When you multiply a negative times a positive, you get 2 to the negative 12. What's that look like? You got to flip it. It turns positive. You're never allowed to have a negative exponent. All right? You're never allowed to have a negative exponent. In a final answer, you're never allowed to have that. Okay? Kind of confusing, I know. Again, this is a warm-up to next week, what we're going to go over. All right, the last part of the class, or last part of this Edpuzzle I want to talk about. What if I had x negative 2? Uh-oh. And then what if I'm going to put this over here? Y 5. All right. Let's just talk about the rule again. What was the rule? When you have a negative, it has to flip and become positive. It turned positive. Now it's a positive 3, but it flipped sides. It was a negative. Now it's a positive, but it's flipped sides. Okay. What's going on here? It's negative. We're not allowed to have it negative. We can't deal with this problem until we address and figure out how to turn this positive. What are we going to do? We're going to take this and bring it down. That's our rule. That's our rule. We're going to bring it down, and it's going to become x squared. All right? It's no longer up here. So what do you think happens? All right? Now I have this x4 on the bottom and x2 on the bottom, and there's nothing on top. Well, if there's nothing on top, remember, you must have a 1 on top. But is this a final answer? Or is there something we can do with those exponents? Is this a rule we've already learned? Let's go back to the top. Is this a rule we've already learned? Interesting. Okay. So your final answer, 1 over x to the 6th. Interesting. Oh, you didn't see that. Interesting, huh? Okay. Why did it become 6? Because we brought the 2 down. All right, same idea here. What do we do with this whole thing? We're going to move this whole thing up. It's going to become positive. Now what do we have up here? Y to the 8. All right? If you were able to keep up with this and write this down, you're good to go, okay? I will go ahead and give you extra credit if you post your notes. There also is, listen up, if you want to retake the Pythagorean theorem quiz, that's also in Google Classroom. Click it, retake it, do the best you can. I will talk to you guys later. I'll see you Monday and Tuesday. Have a good, safe weekend. Way to go getting this done before 2 p.m. and getting full credit.